Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I saw this on my Twitter thread. A user by the name of the Ebony Maw posted this. I want to go over it here very briefly, or I'll try to make it as brief as possible. But it says, if you want to see a man embody the word pathetic, look no further than Patton Oswalt, prostrating himself to his audience after he dared to take a picture with Dave Chappelle. Now, full disclosure, not a fan of Patton Oswalt as an actor or as a comedian. But what is he referring to here? We see this Instagram post. This doesn't look too bad, right? It's from Patton Oswalt. This was taken on New Year's Eve. It says, finished me a set at McCall Hall and got a text from Dave Chappelle. Come over to the arena he's performing in next door and do a guest set. Why not? I waved goodbye to this hell year with a genius I started comedy with 34 years ago. He works an arena like he's talking to one person and charming their skin off. Anyway, I ended the year with a real friend and a deep laugh. Can't ask for much more. Hey, despite how you feel about Patton Oswalt, this isn't bad. He's taking a picture with his friend, Dave Chappelle. Not a big deal at all. Oh, no, wait. It's Dave Chappelle, the guy who's been the topic of controversy within the alphabet community, specifically in regards to his jokes towards the T's. Yeah, and he took a picture with him. You can't do that, Patton Oswalt. And, of course, what ended up happening after he posted this picture? What you would expect, right? People got into his comments, saying how much they were disappointed in Patton Oswalt for taking a picture with this phobe, Dave Chappelle, and instead of just moving on from it, forgetting about it, and just going about his business, no, Patton Oswalt, because he's one of these Hollywood wokies, has to do what you would expect him to do. He has to capitulate to the mob. So that's exactly what he does the very next day with this post. So it says, I saw a friend I hadn't seen in a long time this New Year's Eve. We've known each other since we're teens. He's a fellow comedian, the funniest I've ever met. I wanted to post a pic and an IG story about it, so I did. Again, nothing wrong with that, right? The friend is Dave Chappelle. 34 years we've been friends. That's nice. He's refocused and refined ideas a lot of us took as settled about race and history and life on planet Earth and spun them around with a phrase or punchline. We've done bad things and good things, open mics and TV tapings. Now, if he had said after this point, after the whole TV tapings part, that, hey, look, I know the kind of person Dave Chappelle truly is because I'm his friend. I've known him for 34 years, and he's not any of these things that the media has labeled him as, or these crazy people, this crazy vocal minority of people on Twitter or the internet have labeled him as. I know the character of this man because I've known him for 34 years. I know the real Dave Chappelle, and he is not any of those things, and I stand by my friend, and I was happy to take that picture with my friend. I think everything would be fine, right? But no, he has submitted himself to the woke mob, right? To the Hollywood wokies, and of course, he says this, but we also 100% disagree about transgender rights and representation. I support trans people's rights, anyone's rights, to live safely in the world as their fullest selves. For all the things he's helped me evolve on, I'll always disagree with where he stands now on transgender issues. You know, this is how you know he doesn't really talk, or at least for me, it's my opinion, for me, I don't believe he talks to Dave Chappelle that much, or he's really paying attention to what Dave Chappelle has been saying. For a guy who's known him for 34 years, you don't really seem to know a whole lot about what he's actually been saying. They're jokes, and I'm not even talking about the jokes. I'm talking about the times when he's talking to his audience, when he's just being serious, having a conversation with them. Those times. You haven't been paying attention to that, or what he's actually been saying outside of that, outside of his comedy shows. Like, how often do you call him and really talk to him about stuff like this? Because I don't think you do at all. Or maybe you do, and you're doing this just to save face, right? Which is absolutely a possibility. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what he's doing, right? Just to save his own skin. Hey, Dave, sorry, I got to throw you under the bus here because I'm looking kind of bad publicly, and I gotta mitigate the fallout here. So I'm just gonna throw you under the bus. No big deal though. We're just good friends. We've been friends for 34 years. Not a big deal. I'm sure you understand. So he says, someone that long, see the struggles and changes, it's impossible to cut them off. Impossible not to be hopeful and open and cheer them on. Also, I've been carrying a lot of guilt about friends I've cut off who've had views which I couldn't agree or change in ways I couldn't live with. Sometimes I wonder, did I and others cutting them off make them dig their heels in deeper fuel their ignorance with a nitro boost of resentment and spite. That sounds, wow, that sounds really condescending. This is why I can't stand these Hollywood types. They're so pretentious and they're so condescending when they address these things. It sickens me. He goes, I'm an LGBTQ ally. So is Dave. I'm a loyal friend. Are you? Because it sounds like you're throwing this guy under the bus right now. It's my opinion. The way this is coming across, and it sounds like you've cut off other people before simply because you probably have ideological disagreements instead of just agreeing to disagree with them on certain issues. Now, I understand if you're cutting them off because they actually are genuinely hateful people and they tell you, hey, I want harm to come to other people of different races, religions, ethnicities, orientations. I could understand cutting them off if that were the case, but I don't think that's the case here with Dave. Dave hasn't done this. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying he's cutting off Dave, but don't be surprised if he does sometime after this, if they don't end up being all that buddy-buddy anymore after this. Because this guy's image is more important. He seems to not really listen to Dave. Like I said before, remember in that comedy special where Dave Chappelle said something along the lines of, people got mad at me on Twitter, but I didn't care because, Twitter's not a real place. Well, I don't think that Patton Oswalt realizes that Instagram isn't a real place. So there's friction in those traits that I need to reconcile myself and not let cause feels of betrayal in anyone else. And I'm sorry, truly sorry, that I didn't consider the hurt this would cause or the depth of that hurt. Oh my gosh. What would we do without our great hero, the great Patton Oswalt, this paragon of morality? Unbelievable. I've been messaging a lot on IG today, and the back and forth has really helped guide me in the writing of this. I naively deleted all of the posts in the comment thread, critical ones from the LGBTQ writers, and shit posts by TERF anti-trans orcs looking for clicks and giggles. I wanted a nice comment thread about the PIC with my friend. Nothing wrong with that. Ugh, so easy to think someone else needs growth and miss the need in yourself. Gonna keep trying. Obviously, nothing but a huge virtual signal by Patton Oswalt. You are nothing but a coward, sir. You are nothing but a coward. You bent the knee just because you got a little bit of backlash, and apologizing will do nothing. And it didn't do anything, because if we look here, this is what some of the people had to say in response to that. We're so different. For me, it's easy not being friends with a transphobe. For you, it's hard not to be friends with a transphobe. Perhaps you should rethink what ally means in the context of being an ally to the LGBTQ community. And then we have this, right? Just because Dave's actions haven't seriously harmed you doesn't make it okay to stand by him. Dave keeps doing harm gleefully, so your support of your longtime friend validates those who hate like Dave. It puts trans people at greater risk. From what? From what? From jokes? From jokes that they don't like because they're offended by jokes when they could just as easily ignore them? This is pathetic. The fact, sometimes I can't believe that we're living in a society right now where we tiptoe around shit like this on fucking line. You just walk away from your computer if something offends you that greatly. If words online offend you, if jokes offend you that greatly, you could just not listen to them and you could just log off for the day. Turn off your computer for the day. Go out and do something more productive in real life instead of this shit. But look, it's what you would expect, right? It's what you would expect. Like I said, from these Hollywood types that are woke. They always do this stuff. They always turn on each other. They always turn on those that they say they're friends with. Oh, friends with the guy, but I can't be friends with them anymore, right? How do you go and say stuff like this? Your friend of 34 years, your good friend, stuff like this, real friend, and then do this shit. You know what I mean? You should know the kind of person he really is if you've known him for that long. So you're nothing more than a coward, Patton Oswalt. And you know what? You deserve every bit of criticism you're getting for this, and you deserve to be mocked and ridiculed for this. Everybody should point and laugh at you. Not laugh with you, but laugh at you for this. because it's pathetic. It is truly pathetic. It's exactly what the Ebony Moth said. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. And until next time, y'all know how it goes. The hunt continues.